Happy New Year, everyone! Today we are following our friends from Klubniy Servis Moscow as they will show us rather unique stuff. I swear it is rather unique stuff. They are going to show us an honest damage report on a GWM Poer, also known as GWM Cannon ute in Australia. Poer is the branding that is everywhere else in the world, to the best of my knowledge, in Russia, in South Africa, probably in the other parts of the world. And as you know, I've been quite interested in GWM Cannon ute, and for a short period of time I even convinced myself that that is the next car I'm gonna buy. Now I can't believe that I did it because I'm not a tradie. In this video, Ilya is going to show us, as he always does with disassembly videos, he will show us what happened to the car when an object collided with it. It's not even a collision with a vehicle. If you're interested, if you're buying this kind of vehicle, if you're considering how solid it is and all that kind of stuff, well, my friends, you're about to see and honestly hear exactly what caused this kind of damage. So enjoy the, not a disassembly, but a damage report. Take your hot pills if you're an owner of GWM Cannon, you've been warned. Let's keep watching.
In case you didn't know, Klubniy Servis is also acting as a privately owned dealership, selling different vehicles, including Chinese ones these days. But here Ilya tells us tongue-in-cheek that they are selling them not because Chinese vehicles are particularly good, but they sell to get rid of them so that they don't have to drive in those themselves. Yeah, Ilya is a funny man, and believe it or not, his business is actually booming. Selling stuff while telling the absolute truth. Who would have thought that's a way of actually doing business? Take note, Western and Aussie dealerships. So here we have Great Wall Power, or GWM Cannon ute, which costs an arm and a leg in Russia these days. Yes, sanctions and all that, but still asking an equivalent of 61,000 American dollars for a GWM Cannon should be treated as a financial crime of sorts, in my humble opinion. But let's move on. So this car had obviously a road accident. Straight away I will tell you that it was not a collision with another vehicle, as you might think, but instead a wheel from a truck. Yes, some trucks can have wheels that may get loose. So one of those shoots off, for the lack of a better word, on a highway and hits, in this case, another moving vehicle. And that is exactly what happened here. Hard to speculate right now at what exact speed was the object itself and the car at that point of collision, but Ilya tells us slightly later that the truck wheel itself weighs about 100 kilos, and it's obviously quite heavy, and we will see in the video that this Great Wall Motor pickup, bakkie or ute, however you prefer to name it, kind of ended up next to the highway boundary railing. Yeah, so we might think that it actually hit that boundary railing and that's what caused a lot of that damage. But Ilya here explicitly tells us a bit later that there was virtually no damage caused exactly by them veering and colliding or like sliding more along that highway railing. Most of the damage, like 99.9%, was purely from that truck wheel hitting the car on the move. So on to the damage report right now, now that all the scene is set. First thing that we are seeing here are the deployed airbags, which is great to see that they have actually worked and saved the lives of the passengers when the accident happened. Bad news obviously mean that Klubniy Servis in this case would have to fully fix this car somehow, don't ask me how, and it looks like a complete bloody write-off. They will need to somehow order and reinstall the new sets of these airbags, which, among other things, is hard to source these days, but we will not focus on that.
This video is sponsored by Carplay wireless Carplay system. The link with a discount code of 15% to all of our community is in the description of this video. Why is it good and who is this system good for? I think that it's particularly good for older vehicles or cheaper vehicles of Chinese or any other origin, the ones that do not have a very good Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and especially those that don't have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. If you have extra real estate available and you don't mind extra additional screen, because that's the only consideration here. Can you be bothered having an extra screen here in your vicinity as a driver? And if you don't mind it, or if your current screen is not used and you want to just like overhang one over another, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to install it. Watch my other video for a full proper review of copyright system. Then copyright is exactly what you should look for. I genuinely believe that it is the most solid, best built system that I currently use, by the way, as well, that has a screen. Because if you are happy with your own screen, maybe some other wireless adapter will work better for you. Watch my other videos. But if you don't, and if you would like an extra screen, then copyright is exactly for you. Don't miss out on 15% discount code if you use my link in the description of this video. And thank you for your support.
Looking at the main collision and damage area in the front of the vehicle, it's pretty much all smashed. The whole bonnet, radiator, lights, well, no need to itemize here. As you can see, it's the whole disaster with your own eyes right now. All that is from one wheel hitting a vehicle, not another car. I will keep repeating it because it's bloody fascinating. Keep that in mind. So to better understand the extent of the damage and why it is so horrible, and make your own conclusions, obviously, from this report, let's remind ourselves that it is a vehicle on a frame. So put simply, as Ilya says, among other things, it means that the vehicle's body is rather crap in terms of any native rigidity, passive structural resilience. In other words, it relies heavily on that frame that it's placed upon to provide any of that sense of you driving a solid vehicle. This whole destroyed front panel structure moved inward, which Ilya highlights to us, and it is, well, obviously not a good thing at all. The A pillar moved up a bit, windshield glass didn't crack, which is a pleasant surprise, or you could simply call it a luck. And the door no longer closes fully, which is not a surprise in turn. And further elements of the metal being deformed pretty much are present everywhere. With the main point here being that yes, of course, it is a 100-kilo wheel hitting you at speed. Sure, not a pleasant scenario. But it's not another vehicle, as I promised to you that I'll keep repeating. And the damage is beyond extensive. Great Wall Motor here implemented the fitting of the front wheel suspension very, let's use a mild term, interestingly, where the top lever holding the front suspension spring is actually fitted to the frame, not any other supporting element of the vehicle's body. We can see here clearly the housing, or this kind of semi-open, if you like, cast iron pipe. You can see that it holds the spring and the levers, and it's all welded right onto the vehicle frame underneath. So, explaining this further, even with the slightest hit to the wheel, if something hits the wheel of GWM Poer or Cannon Ute, this whole structure deforms almost beyond repair, bending inwards, affecting the frame as well, bending the frame underneath as the fitting of the wheel and frontal suspension is just made that way, and it's all sort of becomes a bit of a write-off. Yeah, cheap to manufacture, but very expensive to fix if someone was persevering with this, which by the looks of it, Klubniy Servis intends to do. Let's keep following the damage caused by the hit, and here again the element of a frame is shown, which is relatively undamaged, at least in the frontal parts, telling us that the kind of wheel bounced and the whole force ripped through the body above the frame, bending and crushing the softer elements as it went along. Ilya says that if it was a Toyota, he is rather confident, as a person who owns a Toyota service center, at least originally it was one, he is confident that the damage would not have been anywhere as extensive simply because of how the body is fitted onto the frame, how it's assembled as far as its own natively built rigid elements, and specifically how the suspension arms and levers are attached to the body. It is sort of all thanks to the weird design and engineering by GWM as shown to us here. There is unfortunately no hiding that, and that's exactly what Ilya says, and I'm just translating it to you. Don't shoot the messenger. Surely some lurking car dealers in my comments and other hardcore defenders of Chinese vehicles, which I'm not one of as opposed to the popular belief, will have some strong words of wisdom to share with all of us. Which I always welcome, by the way. We don't have to agree as long as people remain mutually respectful and more or less informed and not just trolling like idiots. But the point that I agree with Ilya on here is that a loose wheel hitting a vehicle should never cause an almost complete destruction that we're witnessing here. I'm sure majority of you would agree. Facts don't lie, as they say. Marketing brochures do. So when you once again consider that all of this beauty costs almost 61,000 American dollars right now, somewhere in the world, doesn't matter where, all of this looks rather grim. Good news to all of us, fans of Klubniy Servis and disassembly videos, that Ilya promises us a second part of this video where he, by his own words here, will expand on how long it took him to get all the materials, all the parts to repair this gem of automotive engineering, how much it cost him, and obviously reveal some parts at least of the process to us. Assembly of the vehicle versus a disassembly that you've already used to me seeing translate from Klubniy Servis. Sounds like fun? Interested? Don't want to miss out? Well, you should know what to do by now. So step number 1, like the video, if for no other reason than to say thank you to Klubniy Servis and to me. And if you watch all these videos all the way and never like my videos, man, you're either supremely lazy, that can be fixed, or just an ungrateful person, which usually cannot be, yeah? And I'm not guilt-tripping you here, man, but I'm rather offering you a free-of-charge reality check. For the rest of you, thank you very much for all your support, liking my videos. I welcome you to subscribe for more so that you don't miss out, and I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye for now.